Hello everybody, hope you're having a good day today. Not too bad here, but the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. If you're watching this video, that means God has allowed you another day to live and gives you another opportunity to do something for Him. So do something for God, share the message if you will, and maybe put some Bible verses on your Facebook feed and try and help someone get to heaven. I mean, that's our job as Christians, is to try and help people get to heaven. And so, the title of the lesson today is called The Fear of Death. And you know, everyone experiences death at least once in their life. I mean, death and taxes are the only sure things in life when you think about it. And you can't take it with you. It was their time, and such are some of the things we speak about when we subject of death. And probably the number one reason that people despise death is because they cannot control it. And they know it's coming their way. And some people wonder why it doesn't happen faster. People who are sick and dying of disease, they're just ready for it all to be over, and it evades them. Until such time as maybe, and a lot of people, they're not prepared for it, and it comes their way anyway. See, as a Christian, we are taught that we do not need to fear death, because if we are faithful to God, we will be taken to a better place. And those who are not Christians, they can definitely fear death, because their end is the beginning of eternal destruction and torment. And a lot of them do not know that. Many people do not believe in God, and death is what they consider the final act of any life. And it brings their pitiful existence into an unknown void. But those people who believe in God, they know there's something better. And if they have been serving God the way they should, then they can be looking forward to this eternal bliss. But perhaps we do not consider our own death enough. And let's face it, it is a very unpopular subject. People don't like to talk about it. People don't like to think about it. They don't want to let their mind dwell upon it. And we're only faced with we hear about people dying, or maybe when the doctor tells you that you have a short time to live. Then you start thinking about it real strongly. But other than that, we ignore the subject as much as possible. We don't like it. And like I say, we fear it, and we despise it sometimes because of who it takes away from us and what it can do to us. You know, sometimes we have to consider our own death because, well, here's what I did. I was listening to a talk show one day, and the host came on and was talking about and asked everyone to consider their thoughts on death and dying. And as a person of faith and one who believes that he is doing the best to be pleasing to God, I consider that I do not fear death. And I don't think any Christian should fear death. They should not. If they are living faithfully, they should not. But really, one reason many fear death is because they fear the unknown. Let's face it, there's nobody in the Bible ever explained what it was like. The transition from living to dying, living to death. Nobody has ever explained that. All we know with the rich man, he woke up being in torment, and so that's as close as we can get. We fear it because it's unknown. We wonder, is it going to be painful? I mean, will I be aware of what is happening? And will I see that light at the end of the tunnel? And of course, the answer will not come to us until that time arrives. And yes, it is coming for you and me and everyone else. And it is probably the biggest unknown in all of human history. And so even though I do not fear death, I did feel that I fear growing old. I think a lot of us have this problem. We're afraid of getting old, and old to the point that we cannot control our body or our minds. See, our bodies fail as we age, and we cannot do the things we did before. See, we all have loved ones or close friends who have suffered various infirmities associated with old age. Some of them had dementia, some Alzheimer's, and other diseases. And so, full of the looks of the tiny children as we shuffle along slowly or exhibit shakes in our hands and bodies. We're fearful of people mocking us, making fun of us, usually behind our back, and mimicking the way we walk or use our walkers. We are fearful that people will take advantage of us and steal our money or other possessions. And we are fearful of embarrassing ourselves because we could not find the restroom fast enough. We might get some strange looks when we take our teeth out to eat. And oh yeah, the list goes on, and it scares us. And we're worried about that. And that's why we despise it so much. See, our best hope is that God will allow us to function with some degree of clarity until our time is up. We all know people who were basically fully functional, understanding, and then they died just immediately or suddenly. And we know of others who basically went through all sorts of problems that we talked about a little while ago. God will be kind enough to us to let us go out smoothly and quickly. But you know what? That is not our call. We cannot help that. And so it is going to be for us. The best thing we can do is prepare ourselves now so that we're mentally fit and ready to enter the kingdom of heaven before we lose our minds. And we know some people who have lost their minds, they actually become very ugly and really out of character, and we just have to assume, that's really not them anymore. And so to make sure that we're doing our best up to that point where if we do lose our mind, we're still in a right relationship with God when that happens. And something else to consider is in the question, what will I leave behind? And sure, there's the matter of the will and the junk that your kids will have to go through. I mean, have you ever considered them going through your old photographs that mean so much to you and realizing those people mean nothing to them? And so those photographs are just discarded in the trash pile. See, the writer of Ecclesiastes asked the question about what happens with our possessions when we die. Well, they now belong to someone else, and we have no control over what happens to those things. I mean, we keep things around because we cherish them. Maybe it's something our grandfather made. Maybe it's something that belonged to our grandmother and has been in the family for a long time. Something our dad gave us or our mom gave us or somebody else. And we cherish these things because of the memories that they present to us. But when we're gone, those memories are gone too, and those things actually mean nothing to those who follow behind us. And so perhaps what should be a great fear is in trying to figure out if people will even miss me when I'm gone. We sometimes wonder about that. And sure, we hope our loved ones will miss us, but will anyone else care about our demise? I mean, let's face it. Have you ever gone through and just read the obituary section in the newspaper? You go along, you see a name you're not familiar with, you just read through it and just keep going. Doesn't affect you one bit. Every now and then you might read a name. I remember that guy. I went to school with that person, or he used to be my neighbor or something, and you'll have some memories come in. But other than that, it really doesn't on your life. Perhaps we should examine ourselves to see what kind of impact we have on others. Have we done things for others? Have we served others as we're supposed to? Have we taught others the gospel like we're supposed to? I mean, what will our legacy be if there is one? And let's face it, if you don't have a legacy to leave behind, then you made no impact on anybody, and chances are you did not impress God very much. So we need to consider these things. And so this is something we should consider today and now. We should not wait until our time is almost up on this earth. Some people have that luxury of knowing, okay, my time is short and things like that. But a lot of people die before they're ready. And so we need to look at, what am I doing now that impacts others? Am I teaching others? Am I helping others? Are we being a servant of the Lord? And when we're a servant of the Lord, what are we doing? We're serving others. And are you helping people in various ways? You know, showing them the way to heaven and the pathway to be on. Are you teaching your loved ones and friends the value of knowing Him? And am I doing anything for this church of which I am a member? You know, if I died, would they even care to make an announcement or come to my funeral? You know, sometimes you wonder, he's gone. You know, of Oz, ding dong, the witch is dead. I mean, I've heard that for years, and that's really sad when that happens. But anyway, have you taken the time to help struggling with their spirituality? Have you allowed others to fulfill their duty to you? And that's right. You know, sometimes we don't think we need help, but someone wants to do something, we need to let them. I mean, this is their way of serving us. And if we deny them that opportunity, we're actually hurting them. So if someone wants to serve you in some way, let them. And will people be sad when you die, or will they just be indifferent? Sometimes we're just indifferent. We drive down the road, drive by a funeral home, there's a funeral going on. Oh well, I mean, that's the way things happen. And we're indifferent about that. And many people aren't, unless you actually know the person who's passed away. And all of this should help us reflect upon our purpose here in this life, and we should live our life to the fullest. The only way to do that is to keep God as your first and highest priority, and God will appreciate that. So plan to do a good job before you die, and you will not have to fear death. Simple lesson here, but really the fear of death usually keeps us in control and not taking chances, hazards and dangers. But there's more to it than that, and we need to be considerate of the fact that it's going to come. Appointed for men once to die, and after that the judgment, Hebrews 9:27. And so we need to be ready for it, and we do not need to fear it. So consider those thoughts, and that's our lesson for today. Lord willing, be back again tomorrow with another lesson.